I was on my way for yet another quarterly business. And two questions had been haunting me for quite some time now. Was I doing impactful work? And did my work have any purpose? And with that in mind, a year later, I sat back at my desk and I started searching for companies that were in the development sector. There's nothing wrong with the profit sector, by the way, but in the development sector, when I came in and I started doing research, I found that there were 3 million companies registered in India, 3 million of them. Some active, some inactive, but there are 3 million not-for-profits, NGOs registered in India. And 200 of them register every day. So how do you sift through this list before you decide what is that company that you want to work for that gives you purpose and has impact? So I did the simplest thing. I found which is the one at the top, right? And before that, the reason I found that there are 200 of them that register every day is, what is the size of the market of philanthropy in India? 50,000 crore, and that's the structured market of CSR, corporate social responsibility, $6 billion. The market in the US of philanthropy is $600 billion, so we have a long way to go. So very soon, I was looking at this company, working through, doing some research, and what struck me was their vision. No child in India should be deprived of education because of hunger. That is a very denominator mindset. And if there are entrepreneurs in this room that you will be future leaders, when you build your vision based on a denominator mindset, you get to see the scale of the problem that you're trying to solve. So build a denominator mindset when it comes to your vision statement. Secondly, very soon I was sitting in front of the CEO of this company having a chat, and you get to ask a question of the CEO, and I said, Sridhar, what's your 5-year vision? Where are you headed? 5-year plan? And he said, Dhananjay, I'll not give you a 5-year plan, but I'll give you a 15-year plan. 9,000 people, 9,000 colleagues in this company are working feverishly hard to make this company irrelevant. That's where it struck me. Why for-profit companies are designed for perpetuity, the not-for-profit companies by design for obsolescence. It's in their DNA. It's quite right, isn't it? When you solve the problem, you got to move on, get a crack at another problem. So, what is the problem that we are trying to solve? 1.2 million government schools in India. What we do? 120 million children in the age group of 6 to 14 that go to these schools. 120 million children. And by law, Supreme Court, year 2000, they have to be fed a very wholesome, nutritious meal by each state. It's a state subject. Right? This meal is the incentive for that child to go to school. Enrollments increase, dropout rates decrease, and attendance gets better. That's the only reason that these children come to school. What do we do? There are 78 kitchens spread across 16 states, 3 union territories, 25,000 schools, and 2.35 million children are fed across India every day. Now, 92% of these 120 million children are fed directly by the state. We don't get involved, we are an implementing partner. However, if you do a quick math, 25,000 over 1.2 million, it's 2%. 2% is what we get to address in the Indian market. And that 2% makes this company the largest not-for-profit in India and the largest not-for-profit in the world in that sliver of school meal program. It's very proud of that fact. But when you are the largest, you're fairly lonely at the top. The competition is not to be found for miles altogether. So when you don't find competition and you're the biggest, the first thing that sets in is complacency. And we are very conscious as a market leader in this sector, we will not be complacent. We keep on asking our employees, where is that growth that is lurking around the corner? Of course, we grow organically, that's not a problem. But how do we take this and solve the problem? And the next couple of slides, I'll tell you a few stories where you can borrow a lead from what we are doing, and hopefully it will be beneficial. The first is, these kids who come to school also come to school hungry. And they have to wait right up till mid-afternoon before they get their lunch. So we said, why don't we start an experiment? And we started in the state of Assam. A morning nutrition plan. Just a morning bar, nothing very fancy, chickpea, peanuts, jaggery. 10% new enrollments, not attendance. 10% new enrollments, that's 20,000 students that enrolled just because there was a morning nutrition. And we have served about 1 million morning nutritions already, cumulatively speaking, in the last 6 months. And 6 states have now taken up the morning nutrition. So there is slight innovation, but it's always lurking around the corner. Keep on talking to your employees. The next one, very close to my heart, and Director Ma'am had also referred to it. We went into the city of Barsana, which is about 2 hours drive from Vrindavan. And we went and met the mukhia of that village and said, will you give us a piece of land? We want to build a kitchen and feed your children here. Smart guy, he said, fine, I'll give you a piece of land. But what will you do about the women? Now they stay in Parda, stay at home, cook food, look after the children, go with their husbands to the field, help. Can you do something for them? We came back to our drawing table and we built the first women-only kitchen in Barsana. This kitchen is about 48 employees. The lady that delivers the food in the van, the security guard, the chef, the operations staff, everybody is a woman in this kitchen, and we were so inspired. 10,000 meals a day that we are now going to build another kitchen which is women only in Rishikesh. So very inspiring story from the city of Barsana. Now I'm pretty sure some of you have seen this mega kitchens of the world in National Geographic. Akshay Patra kitchen globally is covered there. It is the world's largest kitchen, capable of producing 250,000 meals a day. Currently doing 125,000 meals a day. Now, when we build such mega kitchens, we're trying to look at ways to engineer them more efficiently. And we found that when we move the food in a lateral direction, that consumes more energy. So, this is raw food as well as cooked food. We decided to lift all the raw food to the top floor. Right? So, there is a funnel which is on a balance with a meter for rice, for pulses, for oil, and you go in 25 and 25 kgs of rice drops into a vessel. How? Gravity. We wash it, we put it down the chute. How? Gravity. We cook it, we put it down the chute. How? Gravity. So we used gravity as a methodology to save energy. Our mantra being, cost per meal has to be controlled, but still the nutritious meal has to go there to the child. These small innovations are always lurking around the corner. All you have to do is ask your employees. Now, your customers, you will realize, will be very demanding. They have a feature list which is never ending. Our customers are also very demanding, maybe a little more. So we keep taking feedback from our customers. The customers are these little kids, and I was serving in a school, went by and asked, what do you like in your meal? It was a very open-ended, dangerous question. I shouldn't have asked. And all of them replied, we like kheer. We want you to give us kheer every day. That's just not possible. So we also realized that they used to attend, the attendance used to go up the day we gave them kheer and used to go down when there was no kheer. So we stopped telling them when the kheer is going to come. Now they're guessing. Is it tomorrow? The day after? They attend school better. Keep on listening to what your customer is saying. The other story around this is, when we started, we gave khichdi to students in South India. 7 days, no problem. 8th day, all the khichdi came back. Why? Because South India is rice, bisimile, bhat, sambar, rasam. They don't eat khichdi. North is roti, chapati, puri, aloo, rajma. They don't need sambar. So very quickly, when you listen to your customers, you develop your strategy that much faster. So keep listening to them. We move about 500 tons of food. This is raw food, about 1,000 tons of cooked food every day. 100,000 kilometers every day we travel to distribute this food. So we are looking at optimizing this every single minute. So we have written reams of manuals. This is how you should do it. This is what it will do when you do it this way. So how do you make your employees comply? The what and why, the what and how comes from here. The why, if it comes from here, that's when you make a difference. So we said, every paise that you save on a construction of a meal, 23,000 rupees a day, 53 lakh rupees a year, we will be able to feed 3,500 more children in that year without having to raise any funds. That resonated with our employees much better than telling them what to do and how to do it. So when you communicate with your employees, when you become entrepreneurs, make sure the why always comes from you. That's what the director man was also saying. If there is one place that I would recommend that you don't do any jugaad, is financial transactions and financial transfers. This company has received 8 golden awards from a gold shield from the Institute of Chartered Accountants in India. And then they said, please don't apply, we put in Hall of Fame. So we are the only not-for-profit in the Hall of Fame of ICAI. And there are 2 other companies from the for-profit domain in the Hall of Fame of ICAI. Infosys, not surprising, and Nucleus Software, which is just a recent entry. This is an amazing journey slide. I'll spend some time on this, and hopefully there is a leaf you can pull out of it. It took us 12 years for the first billion meals, cumulatively speaking, 12 years, first billion meals. In these 12 years, we laid our foundation, we put deep roots, we engineered, re-engineered, learned what to do, what not to do. The only thing that we didn't focus on was growth. 12 years, just get your act right. Maybe a little longer, patience level of private companies or profit companies run out. But however, we had only one focus, how to build a meal, a quality meal, and deliver it efficiently. Were we given opportunities to deviate our business? Yes, absolutely. Build toilets, 10 crores. Here, no. In the first 12 years, we didn't. We continue to do only building meal. That's what we're good at. And then once the cookie cutter was ready, 4 years for the next billion, 3 years for the next billion. The third billion was served by Prime Minister Modi. And then came the existential crisis. We all face it one day. COVID. No school, no kids. We have no reason to exist. No meals are required to be cooked. Akshay Patra closed down for 48 hours. We sat together, whacked our brains, and we said, hey, still, food is still required. We just don't have to cook it. And we pivoted our model for the period of COVID. There were several donors that lined up and said, we will give dry ration when we were giving cooked food. We changed to dry ration. We built a happiness kit, rice, dal, masala, oil, happiness kit. Our staff wore PPE suits, went to railway stations, bus stops, on the road when the population was migrating, and distributed these kits. We raised a lot of money in those years. 5 years it took us to reach the 4 billion milestone, and the 4 billion milestone was celebrated in the UN. But it had a very interesting backstory. After the whole UN celebration was over, several countries walked up to Akshay Patra and said, will you transfer your intellectual property to us? Now, I come from the for-profit world. I am looking at, I'm responsible for growth. I'm looking at inorganic growth, and I'm thinking, yay! We will transfer intellectual property, we will earn a lot of money, which will of course going to feed more children. I can double up and inorganically in no time. All of us are very happy, we're sitting in a room, we discuss pricing strategy. Till our chairman gets up and says, guys, I have a question. Do you want to make profit from hunger? silos. Done and dusted. That very moment we decided that we will be the open source of this technology. So any one of you who want to open a kitchen at scale, our technology is available. There are several countries that are using this, several examples around the world where Akshay Patra has been replicated. We want this problem to go away. We want to solve this problem. Several success stories, and we are very proud of it. I'll just narrate one which is close to my heart. Hemant, first time chartered accountant, beneficiary of Akshay Patra. His father was a daily wage earner, earning 3,000 rupees a month. First time chartered accountant. He walks up in our office, shows his letter from Deloitte, and proudly says, "Sir, I now earn 100 times more than my father." There's several stories, we are replete with such success stories that are impacting generations to come. Oops, I had 2 slides. If you can just go back. March 31st is a very interesting time in Akshay Patra. And the reason it is interesting is, by 31st of March, all the money that I would have taken, I have to spend as per CSR law. I have to give the corporate their utilization certificate. That's by law, I have to do it. Shame on us if we don't spend that money. So we go zero on 31st of March. And guess what we have to do on 1st of April? Feed 2.35 million children and pay salaries to 9,000 employees. Of course, we do a lot of planning, and there is, we don't borrow from the bank, but there is material available in the kitchen to continue feeding these kids, but it's a very interesting case study of how we do it. It costs about 1,500 rupees, which is the cost of pizza to feed one child for the full year, and that's not why I put this story. We serve about 500 million meals a year, 5.5 billion meals a year. And if I was a for-profit company, let's take a rough back of the envelope, 150 rupees. Is that fair? 150 rupees as the price of one meal. We would be the first not-for-profit unicorn. Thank you very much.